Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages. This is Jesse with the Common Nerd, bringing you pop culture and all things dirty through a common sense lens. And you know, we normally complain, right? A lot of the fans in general, Marvel fans, DC fans, fans in general, right? When you don't make our characters look like what we've always known them to look like, right? Whether it be comic books or what the descriptions in books and stories were about what these characters look like, right? That's why the arguments against race swapping and gender swapping always end up starting a big divide among the fan base and all those other kind of stuff. Well, obviously Marvel in its current era has been perfectly okay with doing all of this kind of stuff, trying to pass mantle down to new, POC kind of characters out there, or BIPOC, or whatever the hell they're wanting to call it these days. But boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, after all the memes about Ryan Gosling being Black Panther, and of course our dear sweet Ryan Kennel, RK Outpost being Black Panther, and everything else, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Disney Marvel has made the meme real, because the new Black Panther in the Marvel comics, ladies and gentlemen, inside of Marvel, is indeed a white boy. And he's not even mixed. Oh, it doesn't even look very mixed. I mean, he still could be. We've seen this kind of stuff happen. Anybody that's been around families of mixed children for a very long time knows that sometimes they do come out as white as the driven snow. But literally, our new Black Panther, T'Challa's son, is blonde and light-skinned as all get out, in the race swaps of all race swaps that I never thought possible in my wildest dreams that Marvel would ever allow, even in the comics. The new Black Panther is white, ladies and gentlemen. That means Ryan Gosling and RK Outpost officially have a chance. And that is a beautiful thing to see, ladies and gentlemen. So what's the story behind all of this? What is the origins of this? How much in line with continuity is this actually is? And is this something that the Marvel Cinematic Universe might actually adapt going forward? Probably not, but one can dream. So we're going to check this article from Bounding Into Comics, getting all of the juicy details of exactly what has happened in this latest issue of Marvel Comics. But before we do, if you do enjoy our content, hit that like button, share with all your friends, and subscribe or follow if you have not already, boys and girls, because we are grinding, we are growing. We just crossed 2,000 subscribers, and we are sailing our way towards 2,100, and I could not do that without every single one of you. Also, there's a comment in the section down below. Does it surprise you, especially considering the current state of Marvel, that they would actually go so far and do something like this, even in something that might be considered an Elseworld stories? Did you ever think you would see the day where Black Panther would be a white guy? Do you think the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Kevin Feige and Bob Iger, even come close to having the cojones to actually pull this off in live action? Or do you think this is something that'll simply be a one and done, and we will never see the light of its day ever again? Let us know what you think about all of this in the comment section down below. If you'd like to support the channel, please check out the links in the description, and think about becoming a member and supporting the channel monthly. We certainly would appreciate you being part of the grease between our gears, keeping this machine running. All right, from Bounding Into Comics and our dear sweet Spencer McCooley. Marvel Comics introduces T'Challa's white son, Ketama, as a future Black Panther and King of Wakanda. And as a guy with a black brother and a half-black sister, this just really doesn't surprise me at all. There's a reason why all of my nieces and nephews are very absolutely beautiful mixed children. In a move that is sure to cause the exact explosion of discourse it was intended to. I mean, let's be honest. There's no way the editors at Marvel... Well, let's start at the bottom. There's no reason the story guys that wrote this did not know that this was going to cause outrage and this was going to cause headlines. There's no reason to say that the people drawing the stories and coloring everything didn't know this wasn't going to cause outrage. There is no way that the editor that approved all of this did not know that this was not going to be outrage over this. No. They knew the kind of discourse that this was going to cause. And you know what, boys and girls? I am totally here for it. I am totally here for it. Marvel Comics has kicked off their latest visit to their Marvel Knights imprint with the revelation that at some point in the near future of Earth 616, T'Challa will find himself challenged for both Wakandian throne and the Black Panther by its heir apparent, his blonde-haired, white-skinned son, Ketama. Yes, that's right, boys and girls. T'Challa went off the reservation and found him one of them pretty white women, and he just could not help himself now, could he? Look, it's one of them situations where it's funny, because you used to see this in advertising. People used to bring this up sometimes, right? How a lot of the time in advertising, we start to see mixed race couples and stuff like that, which as a half Mexican, I love seeing stuff like that. A lot of times it was only a black guy with a white girl. Well, I've actually seen that very much recently. It's very much the opposite. You see a very fair mix of it too. You see plenty of white guys with black girls or other races of people and stuff like that. You see a lot of mixed race couples, and it goes both ways on the genders these days. And honestly, it's one of those things, I'm all for that. I mean, I grew up in a mixed race family. I'm half Mexican. My little sister's half black. My little brother's a quarter Korean. My other little sister's like 100% Wisconsin white, right? Okay, so it's like I always believed as I was growing up that was just going to continue to happen, and that, within 100 years or so, we wouldn't even talk about race anymore. We'd all just be just different shades and stuff like that. That was the beautiful world I dreamed of in the 90s as a child. Boy, how that got completely and totally set back 100 years by certain people out there. But needless to say, this is great. This is wonderful. This is fabulous. I love the idea of this. Make Black Panther T'Challa's white son. It's a beautiful thing. Unbelievable as it may seem, this twist of Wakanda's canon was confirmed in the debut issue of Christopher Priest and Joe Quesada's new Marvel Knights The World to Come miniseries. The latest title in the Marvel Knights imprint, as originally created by Quesada to denote things the books that were a bit too edgy for the publisher's general audience. Well, I would certainly say this lands on the side of edgy, wouldn't you, boys and girls? The World to Come flings readers into a near future of the Marvel Universe to find a Wakanda embroiled in political unrest, as a new resistance group known as the Aquamarines, somebody purge the heretics, wages an ongoing coup against the country's traditional ruling regime. Peligro, of course, Novestos. I don't know, I'm not going to bother reading through all of that. A lot of times we get in trouble for all that kind of stuff, but look at this. Safety. Resistance fight. Aquamarines, resistance fighters, safety, your weapons, and lay them on the ground. There will be no second warning. Summon your leader. His presence is demanded by the Dora Milaje. I have no idea what that is, but look at that. Look at that. Look at that. I mean, I have to admit, the art's pretty good. If nothing else, the art's pretty good. It's not bad. It's not as good as some of the classic stuff, but it's not bad. As to how the world's most advanced nation found itself in a state of disarray, it is soon revealed that the heart-shaped dominoes began to fall when its current king, T'Challa, is met with a formal combat challenge for the throne by son Ketama, a formidable masked warrior who has found himself fed up with his father's indifference towards his people's autonomy. Sorry, you can tell my voice is a little shot. I gotta get some water. Hold on. Water's so good. Though he easily proves himself the more competent warrior, T'Challa finds himself unable to bring the challenge to an end, as thanks to his son's adamant refusal to voluntarily surrender, the only way to do so would require him to outright kill Ketama. So literally, T'Challa proves himself as the better warrior. He can take his son out. His son's not ready to handle the throne. His son's not ready to take up the challenge, but mistaking his father's mercy as patronization, obviously going to make him mad about that, Ketama ultimately brings things to a close after he flies into a rage, and in doing so takes his father by surprise and dropping him with a brutal 3-hit combo. As you can see here, Ketama, you are a mere boy, a boy who dishonors his father, an unworthy father, a liar who gave you life. So it sounds like it's his biological son to me. Gave you life. Now you could be arguing, maybe it's a Moses situation, found him in a stream, saved him from the point of death. But I mean, this is kind of basic biology. Gave him life. Sounds like he got down and did the dirty nasty, the beautiful thing that gave God's creation, and created a beautiful bouncing baby boy. Who used me? Never. The priests have filled your head with lies. Have they, Father? So it sounds like we might have a nasty little cult that's corrupting T'Challa's son and completely and totally, changing his mind and corrupting him against his father. Wouldn't be the first time that we've seen something like that happen. Hopefully, maybe this will all work out. Who knows? Maybe the cult's right. Maybe T'Challa is the bad guy. Maybe the son's the good guy. Or hopefully, maybe by the end of this, we'll have a nice, very nice recompense between father and son. I'd love to see that kind of thing. We love the good to see father. Everybody loves a good redemption arc. And of course, we all love good father-son stories. Or have I been baptized, reborn in moral reformation, endowed with truth, the righteousness of kings, true kings. Blame who you will, traitorous lord. The destiny is your doing, set in motion before I could even walk. And I am king now. Wakanda is mine. As you can see, he pulls his mask off, and we revealed the very, 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 very white son of T'Challa here, boys and girls. And Wakanda is mine. And you know, it's one of those things, like, you could argue that maybe it was a dirty trick, right? You know, he caught him by surprise, wasn't fair fight, wasn't facing him, whatever. As far as I know, the understanding the rules of combat in Wakanda, all you got to do is defeat him. So by Marvel's own hand, by Marvel's own writers, he is now the new Black Panther and king of Wakanda. So there you go. Hey, don't get mad at me. Talk to Marvel's writers. I didn't write this story. They did. With T'Challa unable to stand, Ketema turns to the elders of Wakanda and formally declares himself the country's new top cat. I like what you did there. Oops, sorry. Proclaiming, I am king now. Wakanda is mine. The new Black Panther proceeds to remove his mask and reveal himself to his new subjects. And much to their surprise, rather than a black-skinned African, T'Challa's son sports far paler skin and blonder hair than his fellow countrymen. Next, the hosts, Wakanda in black and white. Couldn't be more on the nose with that one, could they? At current, outside of his existence, physical appearance, and hatred of his father, no further details have been presented regarding Ketema's background. Notably, the issue reveals that at some point, following his divorce from X-Men mainstay Storm, T'Challa reunited with his first fiancée, Monica Lewin, and the two eventually became pregnant. Given Ketema's complexion, it seems unlikely that Monica, a black woman, is his actual mother. Thus, current speculation suggests that the new king of Wakanda may be T'Challa's son by another, yet-to-be-introduced woman, or an orphan he adopted and brought into his legacy, a la Batman and his various Robins. Obviously, a very good possibility, but at the end of the day, I mean, sounds like T'Challa got down with the nasty. So, there you go. But does that mean he also cheated on the now fiancée wife? Are we setting something up for like a later, I guess, out of wedlock son versus actual marriage son battle for the throne? I don't know. I mean, it sounds like T'Challa's treating him like a legitimate son, even had the Black Panther outfit on and everything. So, It also should be noted in regards to the canon status of Ketema and his time rolling over in Wakanda, the exact classification of Marvel Knights of World to Come is a bit complicated, with every book that is thus far released under the Marvel Knights banner has been set firmly in Earth 616. The fact that a World to Come takes place at a vague point in the future invites confusion around whether or not the book is considered full-on mainstream canon. So to that point, Priest himself said, our Black Panther is a world to come. It's completely our own vision of the near future. It's not tied into any other bit of Marvel continuity, which gives us enormous freedom to do things that have Lockjaw show up. So we're very happy about that. So obviously, it's not particularly like 100% on that one as far as canon, but it's still the fact that Marvel, right? The fact that Marvel allowed this, right? The fact that Marvel Comics, Disney Marvel, still owned by the Bob Iger Walt Disney Corporation. That Disney Marvel, even in a to come story, arguably an Elseworld stories, they just made Black Panther white and said that T'Challa had a white son. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the meme has been made real. And I never thought I would live to see the day that that would happen. But yes, under the current Marvel leadership, with the top of that being Kevin Feige and Bob Iger, they have now made Black Panther in the Marvel Comics white. So hey, check it out, Ryan Gosling. There's still a chance, because this is absolutely hilarious. This is the first time I can think of in history that it has actually gone the opposite way. Now, technically, this isn't a race swap, right? Because he's not T'Challa, right? They didn't cast T'Challa as a white guy, right? Ryan Gosling didn't get recast as T'Challa going forward in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But the mantle of Black Panther has always been, for the majority of its history, been rooted in African history and Wakanda and having a black man under the lead and everything else. I mean, that's the iteration that the majority of fans out there know and love in a lot of cases. The fact that Marvel had the brass balls to do this is absolutely glorious. And I haven't said this in a very long time, but my hat's off to you, Marvel, because holy cow, you are going to get some heat. You are going to get some backlash from this, and it's going to be from all of the usual suspects that don't actually show up and buy your comics in any way, shape, or form. So, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoy this kind of trolling, this kind of absolute insanity, off-the-rails stuff that is going to cause all of the right people to melt down, let me make a suggestion. Despite everything Marvel has done, go support your local comic shop and go find this issue and pick it up from them, because they were already got stuck with the order. They're going to have it on their shelves whether it sells or not. So by all means, go out there and do them a favor and make this the #1 selling Marvel comic like we have never seen in the history, in recent history, because that will just be the ultimate FU to all of the activists that have destroyed Marvel and what it meant to so many fans with all of their political agenda and political correctness nonsense. Because this is glorious. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, never did I ever thought I would be able to declare this in my life. But Marvel has now made the Black Panther a white guy. And this is the funniest thing I have seen all year. Keep it up, Marvel. This might actually sell.